Hello my friend, welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. Here you can see with me 2012 Toyota Tundra, which I was making a lot of maintenance service on, and you can see those videos on this channel. And my very last service I will be doing on this, which starts right now, is the automatic transmission service. And as you can guess, looking down here in the engine bay for the transmission dipstick will be waste of time, because this is sealed transmission. Well, how do you find out which transmission do you have and which parts you need for it? Because there actually can be two different transmission in this year of Tundra. I show you where. You are going to look here on your sticker, and you will find out that it has automatic transmission AB60F, which means that this shifter is operating 6-speed automatic transmission. Here you can nicely see the pan of the transmission, which has here the overflow bolt. Here is the drain plug for the fluid to get it out of the pan. And if you come from the driver's side, you will actually be able to see the filler plug, which is right there. I will put my finger on it. This is where the filler is. On the passenger side, you can see the ATF warmer. Fortunately, this one is equipped with this automatic transmission fluid thermostat. Unfortunately, this thermostat complicates the procedures of the filling of the fluid in it and getting the correct level, which I will discuss later. Now, unfortunately, I'm way behind on my schedule. This owner gave me already extra day to work on this truck and film everything for you, so I'm not able to keep filming. I have to return this truck today, and I still have to deal with this. So I will just show you some interesting stages of the service I'm doing right now. This vehicle was driven in very dusty conditions for an extremely long time, so I'm wondering what condition is the pan, what I will find inside of pan if I drop it, and also how will look that strainer. Here you can see the kit I bought from Napa Auto Parts for approximately $70. It has a very fancy gasket for the oil pan. I really like it. This is the strainer when it's still brand new. Here is the O-ring, and obviously this kind of transmission is using the ATF WS. This drain plug, it's number 14mm socket, and here you can see the live view of the automatic transmission fluid coming out of that pan. This brings me to another problem. I checked so many different sources how much fluid supposed to be in this tranny when you drop the pan and replace the strainer. Every single article had a different number. I'm in hurry, so I can start removing those bolts which are holding the pan to the transmission. And I just removed that pan here, and you can see the strainer right in the place. Fluids coming out of it. Very fascinating. I love it. It's beautiful. And let's go look at the pan. It's really nice. As I said, that gasket, it's super fancy. That was the drain plug I removed and got that fluid out. And this is that fluid level adjusting overflow plug which I will be dealing later with. If I count correctly, 1, 2, 3 and 4 magnets seem to be identical, so let me remove them. And when they are out of the fluid, we will look on the condition, how many shavings are on them. And this is the difference between just doing flushes, hooking, the transmission to the machine, or whichever method you use, and actually putting the whole pen down and checking what's happening inside, if you have any large metal shavings and so on. But this one is pretty good, as I said. Let's put it here. Not so much of metal shavings, so I'm very happy, and I think this transmission is very healthy. There are obviously always some particles here left in the oil, right? When I was pouring it this way, it got stuck there, but that's okay. That all seems to be within the spec. And here you see it all cleaned with the new gasket in the place. And that's the time to replace the strainer. And the strainer is secured in the front with 2 10mm bolts, 1 and 2, and 2 more here in the back towards to me. I will say 3 and 4. The old one next to the new one. Of course, this O-ring stayed in the transmission body, so I had to pull it out. You don't want to be installing the new one here and have 2 O-rings there. That might be disaster. Everything is back in place, so I'm going to use the torque wrench in crisscross pattern using 8 Newton meters only. And this drain plug needs new gasket, and it will be torqued by 20 Newton meters. And here you can see finally that fluid. It's pretty dark, will you say so? It was definitely time to replace that. And I was extremely curious how much fluid came out of that transmission. So I caught it right in that pan, and look at this. This is 5-quart container, and I had a little spill here. It was not easy to pour it through this funnel, and this is basically full all the way up. So I really got today from this tranny 5 quarts of the oil. That means if I want to put it in the same stage or same shape, the same fill as it was before this little service, I will need to put 5 quarts of this ATF WS. And here again you can look on the driver's side of transmission where that filler plug is. I put a 24mm socket there so you can see where it is located. This plug is the same 24mm size like on the differentials, let's say a rear differential and the transfer case. However, it has a rubber O-ring. So I can start pumping the brand new transmission fluid inside of the transmission, but how much of fluid I will put inside when I don't have a dipstick to measure the level? And obviously if you caught all the fluid to the very last drop, you could measure the amount of the fluid which got out and just replace it. And that will be obviously only in the case when you knew that the fluid level was perfect before the service. But that's not the right way to deal with it regarding Toyota, and this is the moment when the things unfortunately become complicated. To further discuss this issue together and be on the same page, I will ask you to pause this video and look up this document, which is available online. It should be on the first page if you type it in the Google, and it's basically Toyota Technical Service Bulletin, and the number for it's a TC009-07. And if you really did that and read that, you are starting to see the complexity and the problems of that regular maintenance of the Toyota sealed transmissions. We all know that the failure to properly adjust transmission fluid can cause transmission shifting issues or damage to the automatic transmission. This is nothing new, but once again we are missing that dipsticks to do that. If you read this document, you already discovered that for the same truck, for the same year, there are actually 2 transmissions, and each of them will vary in the procedure to adjust the fluid level. And that's even if you have a tech stream from Toyota and all the service tools. You can see that for this truck and for this year, the fluid temperature has to be within some very narrow temperatures. But please understand, this is just sample for you. It varies from car to car and truck to truck and model to model of transmission. Don't think that you print out this and it will work for every single car and for every single year. If you look on the step 4, you are supposed to use the tech stream to connect TC and TE1, right, to create a certain conditions. Some people will just use the jumper wire, but just in the next section, in the E, you have really clearly highlighted here, be sure to turn off those terminals, because if they are on, the fluid level cannot be precisely adjusted due to fluctuations in the idle speed. Did you hear that right? Even the idle speed of the engine matters. Now back to the temperature, the range where you will be really measuring the level, right? Don't think like some crazy people on YouTube will tell you, oh, just take that laser thermometer and measure the oil pan, the temperature, and that will be it. That's not going to work. The temperature of the oil pan is different than the fluid which is inside. And we are finally at the spot number 6 or point number 6, checking the ATF fluid level. Basically there has to be that range of the temperature, right? The engine is idling correctly, and you remove that overflow plug and let that excessive fluid drain out until it trickles through that overflow hole. And again, the correct word here and the crucial word is until it starts trickling. It really slows down, and that's the time when you know that the level is perfect and you are closing that port. And once again, I apologize I didn't film it for you, but I ran out of the time. The owner gave me extra day and I was still not able to film all of it. Why? Because when I film service or maintenance, it approximately takes like 3 times more time than when I just perform it. And the purpose of this video is not to discourage you from performing the maintenance on sealed automatic transmission. I'm trying to caution you because there's a lot of specific things which needs to be done the correct way. You better know exactly the numbers for exactly model of your sealed automatic transmission in your vehicle. As a conclusion, I will say this. I'm afraid that Toyota succeeded. They made it so complicated that they actually succeeded in discouraging the owners performing this particular service by them. And not only the owners. To give this service to some garage or tree-shade mechanic who doesn't have access to these exact numbers and to these tools, I will be afraid that they will be not able to perform this service correctly either. But on positive note, I can promise you that I will find a time in the future and I will definitely film this procedure on the same or different vehicle in the future, step by step, so you can see every single detail. Because of that, make sure you are subscribed, because I have a ton of videos coming your way in the future. Thanks for watching and have a happy New Year 2018.